Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Otis-Bison Cougar broadcast. We are now in the second game of the tournament, and in the last game, the Cougars won both rounds, and we are now in the second. Number 5 for the Bulldogs will be starting off with the ball. He's going to go over to number 22, over to number 3, Destiny Mitchell. Now back over to number 22 for the Bulldogs. She tries putting it over the net, and it is no good. Point Cougars. Destiny Mitchell serves the ball, goes over to the net, goes over to number 5. Oh, now over to number 9, back over to the Cougar side. Over to Diaz. Tries putting the ball over the net, and is no good. Point for the Bulldogs. Number 6 is serving for the Bulldogs. It goes over the net. It goes a little too far and goes out of bounds. Point for the Cougars. Number 17, Paula is serving. Ball goes over the net. Over to number 22. She puts it back over to the Cougar side. Destiny is going to serve it back, hit it back over. Ball goes out of bounds. Point for the Cougars. Number 17 for the Cougars is serving again. Ball is up, and it goes over to number 22. Now over to number 15. Back to 10, and it goes over to the Cougar side. over to Mitchell, back over to the Cougars, to the Bulldogs side. Ball goes over to the Cougars once again, over to Paula, over to Elena. Point for the Cougars. The 17 will be serving again. Ball's up and it goes over to number 22 once more, over to Mitchell. Back over to Diaz. Throws over to Healy and it goes over the net. Point, but the point goes to the Bulldogs as Healy is caught touching the net. Number 10 will be serving the ball now for the Bulldogs. Goes over the net, over to Mitchell. Now over to Healy. Over to Atlanta, putting it over the net. Over to 22. Over to 6, and now back over to the Cougars. Point Bulldogs. Number 10 serves again, goes over to number 22. Back over to Diaz, over to Elena. Back over to the Bulldogs. 22 is going to put it back over to the Cougar side. Looks like the Cougars were stumbling to get the ball, but the point goes to the Bulldogs. Number 10 serving again, going over to Destiny Mitchell. Back over to Diaz, over to Healy now. Number 5 for the Bulldogs, throws over to 6. Now over to number 9, but number 9 doesn't get the ball quite over into the net, and it gets caught there. Point Cougars. Number 22, Hope Lumpkin, is serving the Cougars. Ball is up, goes over to number 9. Now back over to 6. Now over to 22. 22 hits the ball over the net, and it is good for a Bulldogs point. Number 9 for the Bulldogs is serving now. It's up. It goes over the net, over to Hope. Now over to Paula. Over to Macy. But Macy tries getting the ball over the net, but it is no good. Point Bulldogs. Number 9 serves the ball once more, goes over to Hope. Hope hits the ball out of bounds on accident. Point Bulldogs. Number 9 will be serving once again for the Bulldogs. Ball is up and it goes over. Point Bulldogs once more. Check that. It looks like something happened. Ball is up. It goes over to Mitchell. Now over to Paula. Kaylee's going to serve the ball over, but it goes out of bounds. Point Bulldogs. Timeout. Be back in a minute, folks. Both teams return to the court and get ready to play. The ball is still with the Bulldogs. Ball is up. It goes over to Healy. Now over to Paula. Paula throws over to Macy, but Macy hits the ball a little too hard and goes out of bounds. Point Bulldogs. Number 9 is going to serve the ball back over to Healy. Healy accidentally knocks the ball out of bounds and point to the Bulldogs. Number 9 serves the ball once more, goes over to Mitchell, over to Paula, over to Macy now. Now 9 serves out to 6, now over to number 5, puts it over the net, and they Bulldogs have the ball once more. Paula has it. Macy now receives it over to Healy. Looks like the Bulldogs was caught touching the net. Point Cougars. Number 1, Healy Morrison, will be serving the ball. The ball is up, goes over to number 7, it looks like. Never mind, number 10. Throws it over to number 5. Destiny Mitchell saves the ball, and now has it to Healy. Healy puts it over. Number 6 has it. She hands it over to 22. She's going to throw it over. Point to the Bulldogs as Paula barely misses the ball. Number 15 will be serving the ball for the Bulldogs. Ball is up and over to Healy, over to Paula now. Macy gets it and puts the ball onto the Bulldogs side, and it is good for a Cougars point. Number 12, Kaylee Ficken, is serving. Ball is up and over. Point Cougars. Healy is serving once more. Ball is up. Number 10 receives it. Over to number 5, and now back over to number 5 puts the ball over, and it is good for a Bulldogs point. Number 22 is serving now. She's going to put the ball up and over to Healy. And no one else seemed to receive the ball fast enough, and it is good for a Bulldogs point. Number 22, Healy, over to Kaylee now. Now Macy puts it back over to the Bulldogs side, but it goes a little too far and goes out of bounds. Bulldogs point. Number 22 is going to serve once again, going up. Looks like there was a whistle blown. Whistle against the Cougars. That is good for a Bulldogs point. Number 22 is going to serve the ball. Ball is up and over to Hope, over to Paula. Destiny's going to bring the ball over to the net, but is blocked by the Bulldogs. Macy has it now. Throws it over to Hope. Back to Macy. Macy hands it over to Destiny and puts the ball over. Bulldogs have it. They throw it back over. Paula now over to Macy. Number 5 blocks it. Back over to the Cougars. Destiny has it. Trying to put it over the net, but it is stopped by the net itself. Point Bulldogs. Number 22 will be serving now. Ball is up and over to Healy. Over to Paula now. Macy's going to bring the ball over the net. Number 22 is going to get it, but she falls and throw it over to number 10. She's going to put the ball over the net. Paula throws it over to Mitchell. Looks like there's a call on. Looks like the Bulldogs are caught touching the net once again. Point Cougars. Number 13, Macy Wilsey, will be serving the ball. After a small amount of chatter on the court, both teams are ready to go again. Macy serves the ball over to the Bulldog side. Number 15 gets it over to number 6, over to number 10 now. Back over to Kaylee, over to Paula. Destiny gets it, but the net stops her once again. Point for the Bulldogs. Number 5 for the Bulldogs is serving now. It is up, and it's over. Number 3, Destiny gets it. Throw it over to Elena. Back over to Paula. Paula serves it over to 5, over to 6 now. Number 9 has it, and that is 4 hits for the Bulldogs. Number 10 being the 4th. Point Cougars. Destiny Mitchell has the ball now. She will be serving over to the Bulldog side. Number 9 had it, over to 10. Now back to 6. Paula over to Elena. Elena throws over to number 5 and back over to 9, but number 9 hits the net. Point for the Cougars. Destiny serves the ball once again over to number 5, back to 6, over to number 10 now. Hope gets it over to Paula. Haley's serving it, are going to hit it back now. Point for the Cougars as it hits the very back of the line, back of the Bulldog side. Destiny serves back over to 22, over to 6 now. 6 throws over to 9, over to Kaylee. But looks like the ball rolls off of Kaylee's arms and goes out of bounds. Point Bulldogs. Number 6 serves the ball over to Hope. Now over to Paula. Now it's Elena, but looks like there is. Looks like the Bulldogs were caught touching the net once again. Point for the Cougars. Number 22, Hope Lumpkin. Never mind, check that. Number 17, Paula Diaz will be serving the ball. Ball is up and it goes over to number 6. Back over to 10, back to 6 once more. 6 throws over to Hope, over to Diaz, now over to Elena. Back to 15, over to 9 now. Back to Paula, over to Kaylee. 6 gets it, goes over to 15. And that is a point for the Cougars as the ball flies out of bounds against the Bulldogs. Paula is serving the ball once more. Ball is up and over to number 9, over to 6, back over to 15, but looks like she is just short of the ball. The point goes to the Cougars. Paula serving them once again. Up and over to number 22, back to 9. 9 puts it over to Destiny, over to Paula. Now to Kaylee, but looks like Kaylee barely misses the top of the net, and it's a point for the Bulldogs. Penn serves the ball over to Kaylee, over to Paula now, over to Healy. Healy hits a little too hard and goes out of bounds. Point for the Bulldogs. Ball's up and over, goes over to Destiny, back over to Paula, over to Kaylee once now again. 10 hits the ball over to 6 and back over to 22. Looks like Elena's there for a block, and then it goes back over to the Cougar side. Haley gets it once again, going to try to spike it, but is no good. Then number 6 gets it, goes over to 9, and then it is a point for the Cougars. Number 22, Hope Lumpkin is serving the ball. Ball is up, over to number 10. Now over to 6, now over to number 22. Macy is there to stop the ball from going over, and it goes back over to the Cougar side. Haley has it now, hits it a little too hard once again, but yet it's good this time for a Cougar point. The score is 21 Bulldogs, 17 Cougars. Hope will be serving the ball once again for the Cougars. Ball is up and over. Over to number 6, or over to 9, back to 6, over to 22 now. Ball falls out of bounds. Point for the Bulldogs. Number 9 will be serving the ball now. Ball's up, over to Healy. Now over to Paula. Paula throws over to Macy, and it goes all the way over to number 9, over to 6. 10 has it now. Over to Destiny, over to Paula. Macy's going to try to get it down on the Bulldog side, and it's good for a Cougars point. Number 1, Healy Moore, over to Kaylee. Over to Paula. Destiny's going to bring it back over to the Bulldog side. Number 9 throws it to 6. Now over to 5. Back over to Healy. Back to 22. Over to Kaylee. Macy puts it over to the Bulldog side. Number 6 has it. She's going to throw it over to number 10. 10 puts it over to Hope. Over to 22. Back to 6. Back to 22 once more. 22 hits the ball into the net, and it is good for a Cougars point. Number 1, Healy Morrison, will be serving again. Ball is up. Goes over to number 6. Over to 9. Over to 15, but Macy's there for a block. Number 10 throws over to Healy. Over to Paula. Over to Destiny. Ball is going over to number 6. 9 throws all the way back over and goes out of bounds for another Cougar point. Haley's serving the ball again, over to 6, over to 22. She's going to put it over to Hope, over to Paula, down to Kaylee. Kaylee hits it a little too hard and goes out of bounds for a Bulldog point. Number 10, never mind, number 15 will be serving the ball. Hits the net, and it's good for a Cougar point. Number 12, Kaylee, is going to serve the ball over to number 10, over to 6, back to number 5. Hope's there to save the ball, over to Paula, now over to Macy. She's going to spike the ball over to number 15, over to 5. Number 22, Hope gets it, over to Paula, now to Destiny. Destiny puts the ball over to number 5. Again, Kaylee gets the ball, hits the ball a little too hard and brings it out of bounds. Bulldog point. Number 22 serves the ball over. Tries to serve the ball over the net, but doesn't quite make it. Point Cougars. Macy Wilsey serves the ball over. Brings it over to number 10, over to 6, back to 10, putting it over the net. Ball hits the back of the Cougars line, and it's good for a Bulldogs point. That is the match. We'll be back with the second match here in about a minute. Both teams return to the court and get ready for the second match of the game. Number 3, Destiny Mitchell is serving for the Cougars. Ball's up and goes over to number 22, back over to 6. 6 throws over to number 10, and it goes over to back to Destiny, over to Paula, now to Elena. Looks like the ball is no good for a Cougar point, but it is for the Bulldogs. Number 6 throws the ball over to Destiny, back over to Paula, now over to Healy. Going to put it over to the Bulldog side, over to 5, over to 6, over to 9 now, but 9 doesn't get the ball quite high enough, and it hits the net. Good for a Cougars point. Paula puts the ball up, and it is good. It goes over the net, but looks like the Bulldogs get a point. Number 10 for the Bulldogs will be serving. Ball's up and over to Destiny, over to Paula, back to Destiny, put it over the net, over to 5, now over to 9, but it looks like it is good for a Cougars point. Number 22, Hope, will be serving. Ball is up, goes over to number 5, back over to 6, over to number 9 now, but Hope tries to get the ball, but she accidentally knocks it out of bounds. Good, but it's good for a Bulldog point. Ball is up, goes over to Hope, back over to Paula. Macy gets it, but it doesn't get the ball over the net, but is good for a Bulldogs point. Number 9 puts the ball up, over to Healy, over to Paula, back to Healy. Healy throws it over to number 6, over to 22, now to 15. Hope gets it now, now to Destiny, back to Healy, over to number 22, back to over to 5. She's gonna put it over to Hope, but looks like Hope doesn't get there in time, and it's good for a Bulldogs point. The Cougars call for a timeout. Bulldogs return to the court and get ready to play. Cougars do the same. Number 9 puts the ball up, over to Healy, over to Paula, over to Chloe Shank, and that is 4 hits for the Cougars. Point Bulldogs. Number 9 is serving once again, going up and over. Ball goes a little too far, but it's still good for a Bulldogs point. Haley Morrison is subbing out for Zoe Schwinn. Number 9 is serving the ball. Over to Hope. Now over to Paula. Back to Macy. Macy gets it over to the Bulldog side, and it's good for a Cougars point. Zoe Schwint will be serving the ball. Up and over to 22. Now over to 6, over to 15 now. Number 3, Destiny Mitchell gets it over to Paula, over to Destiny again, put it over to 9. Now to 10. 10 puts it over to Macy, over to Destiny, over to Macy once more, over to 9, now to 6, back over to 5. 5 throws over to Hope, now to Paula, and to Chloe Shank. Chloe Shank accidentally throws the ball out of bounds though, and it's good for a Bulldogs point. Number 15 for the Bulldogs will be serving. The ball is up and over to Chloe Shank, now to Paula, over to Macy. Number 10 has it, throwing it over to number 9. Ball goes out of bounds for a Cougar point. Chloe Shank, number 14, will be serving the ball now. The ball is up and over to 22, now to 6, back to 22, putting it over the net, over to Chloe, back to Paula, over to Macy, but it looks like it was blocked by 22. Destiny's going to try to put the ball over now, over to 6, back to Macy. Looks like number 13, Macy Wilsey, was caught touching the net, which is good for a Bulldogs point. Number 22 will be serving the ball for the Bulldogs. Ball is up and over to, and it goes out of bounds. Point for the Cougars. AC will put the ball up now, over to 22, over to 5, back to 22, putting the ball over the net, but it is no good. Ball, yeah, point for the Cougars. Number 13, Macy is serving again. Over to 10. Now to 9. Now to 8. Looks like there's a call. Looks like the Cougars get the point. Number 13, Macy serving once more, going over to 7. Over to 10. Back to 6. Now over to number 5. Macy gets it. Throwing over to Paula. Now to Destiny. Number 9 gets it. Now to 6. Over to Paula, now Macy, over to Destiny, over to 9, over to 6, and now to 10. 10's going to hit it over to Macy, over to Paula. Chloe's going to put the ball over the net. Now over to 8, over to 6, to 9. 9 goes over to Macy, now to Paula. Elena's going to put the ball over, but it goes a little too far and goes out of bounds, and that is good for a Bulldog point. Ball is up and over to number 22, Hope, now to Paula. Now over to 13, over to number 3, Destiny Mitchell, but she accidentally steps over the line, which is good for a Cougar point, not Cougar, for a Bulldog point, that is. Ball is up and over to Chloe. Now Paula, now Destiny, puts over number 6, over to 10, and number 10 hits the ball to the back of the Cougars' area, which is good for a Bulldog point. Number 5 will be serving again. Number 5 puts the ball up over to Chloe, over to Hope. Now Paula's going to put the ball over the net, over to number 6. Never mind, check that, it's 5 to 6. Now over to Hope again. Number 10 is going to get it and put it over to Elena. Down to Destiny, but it looks like it is no good for the Cougars, and the Bulldogs get a point. Number 5 will be serving again. Ball is up and over to Chloe. Now to Paula. Now over to Destiny, but looks like Destiny is just short from going over the net, and it is good for a Bulldog point. Number 5 puts the ball up over to number 2. Now to Paula, back to 6, over to 22, over to 10, over to Destiny, back to Paula, over to Elena. Elena gets it over the net, and it is good for a Cougar point. Number 3, Destiny Mitchell will be serving. Ball is up and over to 22, over to 9, back over to 6. Paula gets it, over to Chloe. Now Elena has it. She's putting it back over the net, but it goes a little too far and goes out of bounds, which is good for a Bulldog point. Number 6 has the ball now. She puts it up and over to, oh, looks like there's a call on the court. The call is something I do not know. Point for the Cougars, number 17, Paula has the ball now. She will be serving. Ball is up and over to number 22, now to 6. Ball is point Cougars. Number 17, Paula has the ball once again. She's going to put the ball over the net. Over to number 6, over to 22 now. Now over to 9, putting the ball over the net, over to Paula, over to Elena, back to Paula, over the net once more, over to 22, to 6, over to 9. 9's going to throw over to Destiny, over to Chloe, back. Chloe puts it over the net, and the ball goes out of bounds. Point Cougars. Paula is serving the ball once again over to where number 9 was standing, but goes a little too far to the 9's left and goes out of bounds. Point Bulldogs. Number 10 has the ball now. Eh, 10 serves the ball over to Destiny Mitchell. Now over to Emma Barr. Now to Zoe Schwint, over to 6, now to 8, over to 22. 22 throws it over to Chloe, back to Elena, now to Chloe once again, back over to number 5, over to 6, and she puts it over the net, back to Chloe. Elena's going to try to do the same thing, and she is successful. She gets the ball again, she puts it back over once more. Looks like there's a call. Looks like the Bulldogs was caught touching the net. Point for the Cougars. Number 22, Hope Lumpkin, will have the ball. Ball's up and over. Looks like there's another call.
Chase, is our score match?
Have some more chatter on the court. Both teams are ready to play again. Number 22, Hope Lumpkin is serving the ball still. Going over to number 5. Now to 6. Over to number 22. She's going to throw it over to Emma. Now to Chloe. Now over to Macy. Puts it onto the Bulldog side, and it's good for a Cougar point. Hope will be serving the ball once again. Ball is up and over. It is good for another Cougar point. Hope serves the ball. It goes over to number 3. Down to 6. And now Destiny gets it. Over to Emma. Over to Zoe Schwinn. And it's good for a Cougar point. The Bulldogs call for a timeout. Be back in a minute.
Hopefully we don't go back and watch the video and find it.
Both teams return to the court and get ready to play. Score is tied up. Hope will still be serving for the Cougars. The ball is up and over to number 3. And it is good for a Cougar point. Hope will be serving once again. The ball is up and it goes over to number 10. Now to 5. Over to 22. Puts it over the net, over to Emma. Over to Chloe. And looks like there was a little mishap on the Cougar side, and it is good for a Bulldog point. Number 9 serves the ball over to Zoe. Back to Emma. Now to Zoe once again. Over to 22. Over to 6. Over to 5. She's going to serve it over to Destiny. Now to Emma. Over to Destiny once again. Going to give it over to number 9. Over to 6. Over to number 8 by the looks of it. Number 10 actually. Back to Destiny. Over to Emma. Emma throws it back to Destiny once again. Put it over the net. Number 6 has it. She throws it over to 22 and it goes. It is inbounds for a Bulldogs point. Check that. It is a Cougar point. So Zoe serves the ball over to number 8, and it goes out of bounds. Cougar point. Number 2, Zoe Schwint has the ball still. She will serve it over to number 22. Back over to Chloe Shank now. Over to 10. Now to 6. Over to 5. 5 throws over to Hope. Back to Chloe. Over to Macy, but now Emma has it. Now back to Macy. Over to number 9. over to 6, back to 5. Chloe throws it to Macy, back over to, now over to Healy, or not Healy, Emma. Emma gets it once again after number 9 gives it to her. And the ball is out on the Bulldogs. Ball, point Cougars. Zoe Schwint serves the ball once again, throwing it over to number 10. Back over to 6, over to 22 now. Over to Emma, now to Chloe, now to Macy. Putting the ball, giving the Cougars another point. Zoe Schwint will still be serving the ball. Ball's up, goes over to number 15. Now 6, back to 15, putting it over the net, over to Destiny Mitchell. Over to Emma, now to Macy, back to Healy, or not Healy, number 15. Now to Hope, over to Emma, over to Chloe, back to 6. Over to Emma now, back over to number 15, over to 6, over to 22, gonna serve, put it back over. Over to Destiny Mitchell, but she is not successful, and it's good for a Bulldogs point. Ball is up, and it goes over to Hope. Now over to Emma. Now to Destiny. Over to number 10. Over to 6. Back to number 5. She throws it over to Emma. Now to Chloe. Over to Zoe, and that is 4 hits. Point Bulldogs. Number 15 will be serving. The ball is up and over to Hope, now to Chloe. And ball is out of bounds on the Cougars. Point Bulldogs. Number 15 serves the ball once again, going over to Chloe, now to Emma. Macy gets the ball. She's going to bring it over to number 9, back over to 6. Number 5 gets it. She's going to serve the ball, or hit the ball a little too hard and goes out of bounds. Goes out of bounds, but it is still a Bulldogs point. Ball is served over to Hope, now to Emma. Back over to Macy. But it looks like the ball, or not the ball, but the point goes to the Bulldogs. Cougars call for a timeout. 1 minute timeout, be back in a minute. Number 15 will still be serving for the Bulldogs. Ball is up and over to Chloe Shank, now to Emma, over to Destiny Mitchell. Number 15 gets it, over to 6, now over to 10. She throws it all the way over to Hope, now to Chloe. Chloe gets it over to Macy, but she doesn't make it over the net, and it's good for a Bulldogs point. Number 15 will be serving once again. Ball is up and over to Hope, now to Emma, now to Macy, over to over to 6 to 15. Emma gets it now, over to Chloe, now to Macy. Macy gets it, and it is inbounds for a Cougar point. Number 14, Chloe Shank is serving the ball. It goes over the net, it goes over to 6, now to 9, and goes over, it doesn't. Number 5 tries to get the ball over the net, but doesn't quite make it, and it's good for a Cougar point. Both teams are tied up. Number 14, Chloe Shank serving the ball once again, going over to number 5, over to 6, back to 5, going over the net, over to Chloe, now to Emma, back to Macy. Number 6 gets it. She throws over to 22. She puts it over the net, over to Chloe. Now back to Emma, over to Macy, and it's good for another Cougar point. Bulldogs call for a minute timeout. Chloe Shank will be serving the ball again. Ball is up and over to number 22. Now to 5. Over to Chloe once again. Over to Emma. Back to Macy. Over to 6. Now to 22 again. Over to Chloe. Over to Zoe. Back to 22. Back over to 6. Now over to number 5. Gonna throw the ball over to Hope, but Hope doesn't quite make it there in time, and it's good for a Bulldogs point. Number 22 serves the ball. She throws it over to Chloe Shank. Now over to Emma Barr. Macy gets it now. Number 6 gets it. Over to 5. Now to 10. Over to 22. Hope. Now back to Emma. And back to Destiny. Over to number 6. Back to 10. Over to Hope again. Over to Emma. Now Destiny has the ball. Serves it over to number 10. Back to 6. Back to 10. 10 once more. Over to Hope. Over to Emma. Macy's gets the ball over, and it goes out of bounds. Good for another Bulldogs point. Bulldogs need 1 more point, and Cougars need 2. Or not 2, they need 3 more points. 22 serves the ball, goes over to Zoe Schwint. Back over to number 5, over to 6, over to 10 now. Ball goes out of bounds against the Cougars. Point is Bulldogs win. Your score is 26-24. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to shut down this stream once again to switch gyms. So tune back in for the final round of the volleyball tournament.